I met my wife 14 years ago. We've been together ever since, and we've just been married 10 years today. And to celebrate that marriage, I want to share with you the big lessons that I have learned along the way that have allowed us to stay together, have healthy conflict, and most importantly, share a vision to work towards. First things first, let's look at the problem most entrepreneurs have when they start pushing and growing their business whilst they have a partner. Number one, they don't share a vision. Usually when they meet, the entrepreneur has a vision for their life and what they want to do, the kind of money they want to make, the impact that they want to have, the freedom that they want to have in their life, and essentially what they want to do with their own family. And then they meet a partner who maybe isn't in business or is in a different business but has completely different goals. And essentially you get two visions that meet together that don't make sense and that aren't aligned. And that causes disruption. When the visions aren't aligned, you can't put up with the day-to-day. When the visions are aligned, you can put up with the day-to-day. Number two is when you go into a relationship, you don't look at the downsides of that relationship. Usually when we first find somebody, we're all love struck and essentially just see upside. And it's only after a period of time that we actually begin to see the downsides of a relationship. And that is a blind spot because we haven't accounted for how that can influence our day-to-day happiness and emotions overall. So getting very clear on the downside of your relationship, downside of somebody else's life, routine, living in your proximity, whether they have got kids already, looking at those downsides and getting clear on those before the relationship kicks off is really important. And number three is living to work rather than working to live, and essentially forgetting that you have a partner, that they have got needs. Here's the biggest challenge that I see with a lot of entrepreneurs. They over-exaggerate the importance of making money at the expense of what it's doing to their life. They're focusing so hard on making money in order to just feel safe and not actually realizing in front of them they've got a wife, they've got a kid, they've got a husband, they've got family, and essentially they overlook caring for those individuals, and over time they disconnect. Never over exaggerate the importance of making money at the expense of the people that really matter. In most cases, it's because you're letting your inner child or your inner teen run your business. Maybe you had financial stress when you were younger. Maybe you had parents that were broke. Maybe you were bullied in school, and your business is simply the vehicle for you to try and mask those wounds. Do the inner work. Don't let your inner child or inner teen run your business, and make sure that you are taking care of the most important people that matter in your life, and your partner is one of them. Hey, if you're enjoying the content right now and you want more gold on how to build a lifestyle empire, that's a business that allows you to live life in your own terms, click subscribe. Back to the video. At the end of watching this video, I want to give you the principles that have allowed me to align my vision with my wife and essentially create an empire together. So here are the three big principles that have helped me maintain a relationship whilst building a lifestyle empire over the last 14 years. Number one, sit down and build a list of wants. I can rest assure you that your mom and dad, well, especially my mom and dad, sat down and built a list of needs. Do we need this? Do we need to go on holiday? Do we need to buy this house? Do we need to buy this car? What you need to realize is that when you build a list of needs, you're actually letting scarcity control your life. Whenever you build a list of wants, you're actually building a list of things that are out of reach. Wants don't need to be justified. Needs need to be justified. When you build a list of wants, whether you want to have a Rolls Royce, a Ferrari, a mansion, whether you want to have 3 kids, whether you want to be the leader in your community, whether you want to be a top performing athlete, I don't know what it is, but when you create a list of wants, these are things that your ego wants and your soul wants. Things that serve you and things that also serve others, because it allows you to be your best. And essentially, whenever you create that list of wants, it forces you to think outside of the box, because the way that you're behaving fits needs. In order to fit the wants, you have got to become a different person. So you begin to look at life through the lens of somebody that has the wants. So get clear on your wants, get clear on your partner's wants, put that list down. You can attach images to it, videos to it, really carve out your want list. Put it on your wall, put it in your phone, put it in your journal. Talk about what it would feel like to have those things. Sit down and envision what it would feel like to drive the car, to have the status, to do all the stuff that you want, and lock yourself into that future self that has those things and integrate the thinking and the actions of that person now. I always like to refer back to the framework. I used to learn this in Sunday school. What would Jesus do when you were presented with an opportunity? So when you look at your future self and all the stuff that you want, what would insert future version of myself do right now? Would they take action? Would they say no? Would they say yes? Would they go all in? Would they close? What exactly would you do? Building a list of wants for both you and your partner is one of the most important exercises you can do. Number 2, have healthy conflict. One of the most important questions you can ask yourself and your partner is, what are we thinking but not saying? That is the stuff that is between the lines of what you're normally communicating on a day-to-day. And every single week, every single month, there will be new things. How they spoke to you, how they treated with you. Are you getting bored? Are you overwhelmed? Are you fed up? These are the things that will allow you to glue your relationship together and strengthen it again and again and again. If you can communicate what you're thinking, but most aren't willing to say, you will become more confident, you will live your truth, and you will have the most amazing adventure. Here's the point I want you to make. How much better off would you be to everybody around you and the world if you had a better relationship, if you had better communication, if you were excited to see your wife, excited to see your partner, and essentially knew that you could communicate anything that you want without being criticized, and to know that anytime that you communicated something, that there was a healthy conversation, a healthy amount of conflict to come to a resolution, so that it's win-win for you and win-win for your partner. Number 3, every single week we have a sit-down mastermind. We call it the weekly debrief. I've been talking about this at events and courses and masterminds for years. We do this every single Sunday at 12 o'clock. We sit down and we ask ourselves a series of questions. These questions follow a very similar framework. Sometimes we do adjust them. We prepare the questions in advance, but most of the times we use this framework. Number 1, what are your top 3 wins? Number 2, what are your top 3 challenges? Number 3, what was your biggest lesson last week? What did you learn and how you're going to implement it moving forward? Number 4, what do I need to apologize for? That kind of links into the what are you thinking but not saying. Number 5, where could we be doing better in the relationship this week? Number 6, what is the agenda for next week? What are we doing for fun? What are we doing for business? What are we doing for day-to-day family life? Getting clear on everything from fun first, which includes date night, then getting clear on all the other stuff that fits in between. Making sure that your calendars are aligned and you know exactly what each other are doing is critical to preventing friction and to prevent the question of, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Hey, what are you doing tonight? Those questions can be quite triggering to somebody that's really focused on their business, because essentially it's almost like assuming that they're doing nothing and there's a space for you to do something in. So pre-planning, getting everyone on the same page is critical. And then last but not least, we talk about projects and deadlines that need to be executed and done this week. Who do we need to reach out to? Who do we need to communicate with? So that's a very simple framework. Hope you use it. It allows you to communicate regularly and frequently. The weeks make up the months make up the years make up your life. So make sure that you communicate regularly. Here's one thing that I want to leave you with. Whenever you can understand your partner's worldview, you broaden your awareness and become a far better human being, wife, husband, father. The secret to a great relationship is understanding their worldview and how your worldview fits inside it, supports it, and challenges it to a healthy degree so that you can keep moving forward towards your vision and building a life worth living. Thanks for listening. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway is. Fire it in the comments. Live strong.